Hello children, I hope you are all happy and safe. Welcome to this special English hour. Here every day we will learn something new in a fun and interesting way. Are you ready to have fun? Then come, join me in a tongue twister. Children, let's say a tongue twister together now. Do you know what a tongue twister is? Okay, I will say a sentence now and you have to repeat it with me. She sells seashells on the seashore. She sells seashells on the seashore. She sells seashells on the seashore. Did you say it along with me? Now do you understand why it's called a tongue twister? Let's say this 5 times now. And let's try to go a little faster. She sells seashells on the seashore. 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 Okay, now do you know why it's called a tongue twister? Children, it took me a lot of years to get it right. I hope you enjoyed saying the tongue twister and will also share it with your friends. Children, have you heard your parents or your elders tell you that is not a good habit? Yes, I believe as children we have heard this sentence many a times. Children, have you heard your parents or your relatives or your friends say, yes, that's a wonderful habit? Sure, we also have such occasions where we are appreciated for our good habits. So children, today we'll be talking a little about good habits and bad habits. Good habits are like jewels. They sparkle and make our character shine, while bad habits are difficult to get rid of and they dim the shine from our character. So we must try our best to learn more good habits and get rid of the bad habits. Children, while learning a language, it's very important to keep learning new words. I would now like to share with you a few new words. Please listen to me carefully and note them down in your notebook. We will come across these words in the lesson that we'll be reading today. Please look out for them and try to guess their meaning. The first word is fulfill. 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 The second word is developing. 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 The third word is wane. 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 The fourth word is opportunity. 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 The fifth word is careful. 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 Let me repeat these words for you once again. Fulfill, developing, vain, opportunity, careful. Children, I hope you have noted these words down. Please look out for them in the lesson that we'll be reading and try to guess their meaning. Children, let's have a look now at the lesson that we'll be reading today. The title of the lesson is Weeds in the Garden. If you have a textbook, please open to page number 47 and point to the words as I read. If you don't have a textbook, please see your TV screens and listen to me carefully. We will come across the new words we just learned. Please look out for them and try to guess their meaning. Weeds in the garden. Most of the parents like to fulfill the wishes of their children. They feel sorry when they cannot indulge their kids or when they have to scold them. And when even a scolding has no effect, the parents become very unhappy. Such was the case with Anshuman and his parents. Anshuman's parents had noticed that he was developing some bad habits. Naturally, they began to warn him time and again, but all in vain. Anshuman just wouldn't listen. He refused to believe that he was letting those bad habits get a hold over him. Gentle words, strict warnings, a scolding now and then. His parents tried everything short of beating him up, and that they would never do. However, unhappy they themselves were, they wanted to be loving and gentle as they tried to correct their son's ways. Children, what is the lesson telling us about? In the lesson, we read about how parents feel for their children. Parents want to fulfill all the wishes of their child, and when they are not able to indulge their children, that is, give their children everything that they want, they also feel sorry. Sometimes parents don't want to give their children things for the child's own good. Sometimes when parents have to get angry or scold the child, that time also parents feel very sorry. But what they feel even worse about is when they have scolded their child and there is no improvement in their behavior. Parents feel very unhappy with this. Anshuman's parents also have a similar complaint. Anshuman has started having certain bad habits, and his parents have taken notice of it. They have tried speaking with him politely. They have given him warnings. They have scolded him also. Apart from beating him up, they have tried everything, but in vain. That is, there is no result even after all these efforts. So Anshuman's parents think of more ways of correcting their son's ways. Soon an opportunity presented itself. Anshuman had gone to stay on his grandfather's farm with his parents. Early morning, his father took him for a walk around the farm. He was describing the specialities of various plants and vines and bushes and trees to Anshuman. Suddenly, he stopped and pointed at a small seedling growing near a plant. Anshuman, that's a weed. Can you pull it out? Anshuman had no difficulty in pulling all of the small seedlings out. Good, said his father, and they continued with their walk. An opportunity presented itself. There was a chance. Anshuman's parents took him to his grandfather's farm. That morning, Anshuman and his father went out for a walk. Anshuman's father described the specialities of different plants, bushes, trees and vines to Anshuman. Then he pointed out to small seedling plants and asked Anshuman to pull them out. They were weeds. Anshuman at once pulled out all the weeds. And his father was very happy with this. He remarked by saying, "Very good." After a while, they came upon the same weed, but there it had grown slightly bigger. Anshuman's father told him to pull out this plant too. He told him to uproot the weed carefully, making sure that no trace of the root was left in the soil. Otherwise, the weed can grow again, he warned. Anshuman uprooted the plant carefully, twisting it and pulling it hard, so that the whole of it came out. Moving further, Anshuman and his father saw another weed, but this one was bigger. Anshuman's father asked him to pull it out and to be careful that all of its roots were also removed, because even if a little part stayed back in the soil, the weed could grow again. Anshuman at once began pulling and twisting the weed. He successfully removed it. Then his father drew his attention to the same weed growing at some distance. There it had grown into a big plant with tiny flowers and dark fruit. That could be quite dangerous. We mustn't leave it growing there. Take it out, said Anshuman's father. Anshuman held the plant in his hands and gave it a tug. The weed didn't move at all. He pulled harder and harder, but to no avail. "I can't get this out," exclaimed Anshuman. "It has gone too deep into the soil." As Anshuman and his father walked ahead, his father noticed another weed, but it had grown taller and stronger. It had flowers and dark fruits on it. Anshuman's father told him, "We must remove this weed. If we leave it here, it will grow still stronger." He asked Anshuman to pull it out. Anshuman, with all his strength, started tugging and pulling at the weed. Even after a lot of efforts, when he was not able to pull it out, he told his father that "I am finding it very difficult because the roots have gone in too deep." So then his father brought some implements. They dug around the weed and with great effort pulled it out. When they were returning home after the hard work, Anshuman's father mentioned, "Habits are like weeds. The longer you allow them to grow, the harder it is to uproot them. It is wise to get rid of them when it is easy to do so. Anshuman realized the truth in his father's words. Throughout his life, he never forgot that early morning walk on the farm with his father. When Anshuman was not able to pull the weed out, his father brought a few implements, a few gardening tools. They dug around the weed and were successfully able to uproot it. On their way back home, Anshuman's father tells him, "Bad habits are also like weeds. The longer you allow them to grow, the more difficult it becomes to uproot them." Anshuman understood his father's message, and this message stayed with him for the rest of his life. Children, did you like the story Weeds in the Garden? What message do we all get from it? In this lesson, we learn about parents who are very concerned about the upbringing of their son. We learn that they want to be good parents. They want to teach their son good manners, good habits, but they want to do so by speaking with him gently, scolding him once or twice if required, but not beating him. They want it to be gentle as parents. On the other hand, they had a son named Anshuman. Anshuman was still a young boy. He was growing. He did not know that the habits that he had were bad and that if he continued with them, it would be very difficult to get rid of them later. Anshuman's father very wisely uses an experience that they both have together as an example to teach Anshuman that habits are like weeds. If we don't uproot them at the right time, their roots will run deep and it will be very difficult for us to get rid of them. Children, this message is also for all of us. If we have any bad habits, we must remember that it will be very difficult to get rid of them later. So as soon as we know that we have developed bad habits for whatever reasons, we must at once pay attention to it and try to work on it. So children, I hope you take this message along with you. Children, we came across the new words that we learnt earlier. Come, let's try to revise their meaning and try to form short simple sentences using these words. While learning new words, it's very important to learn their meaning and also try to use them in sentences so that we can remember their meaning better. Let's begin with the first word. Fulfill. 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 Fulfill means to achieve or to carry out. Parents always want to fulfill their children's wishes. I want to fulfill my duties. Second word, developing. 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 Developing means growing. I am developing an interest in sketching. Mother is developing an interest in baking. Wane. 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 In wane means useless, went to waste. I did my homework, but the teacher never came, so all my efforts went in vain. Mother cooked all day, but the guest didn't show up, so her efforts went in vain. Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. I have got the opportunity to study abroad. One must not let go any opportunity. Opportunity means a chance. Carefully, carefully, carefully. Carefully means with a lot of care. Mother carefully laid the baby in the cradle. I took the little baby carefully in my arms. Children, now it's time to do a fun activity. In this activity, we will learn about prepositions. Prepositions are words that help us connect people, objects, time and locations. Let me give you an example. Buy me a present on my birthday. What is the preposition in this sentence? On is the preposition in this sentence. A birthday is an event in time and the object here is the present. With the help of the preposition, we are able to connect the two. A few more examples of prepositions are on, under, over, until. Children, you will see a few sentences on your screen now. Please underline the prepositions in it. The store is open until midnight. Until is the preposition. The cat is on the table. On is the preposition. The girls play in the garden. In is the preposition. He has gone on vacation to France. On is the preposition. James went into the room. Into is the preposition. Jack went up the hill. Up is the preposition. We will not leave before 3 p.m. Before is the preposition. Children, I hope you found this activity useful to understand prepositions. Children, I hope you all enjoyed today's session. I would now request you to please make some time and make a list of a few things that you think of are your bad habits. Also, with the guidance of your family members and friends, try to find ways of breaking free from those bad habits. Children, I hope you enjoyed today's session. Please take care. Bye-bye and stay safe till we meet next time.